Well, Teaching Cleveland is the organization. It's a group of educators who engage people in transforming place-based education and experiences. Joining me right now to tell us more about that, our Executive Director, Greg Deegan, and student Nandi Grant, who participates in that program at Euclid High School. Welcome, both of you, to the broadcast.
Thanks.
Greg, tell me about this, Teaching Cleveland. What's it all about?
So it's a group of educators who basically work with educators, we work with corporations, we work with high school students like Nandi to help develop a love of place that's historically informed. So often we hear that people never learned anything about Cleveland in school, and yet most of us are from here and we live here as adults, and so if we're going to be the authors of our future, I think it's important to know our history.
We need to learn something about the city. I mean, we learn about America, and sometimes we even learn about the state. We ought to learn more about that. But we need to learn about the city itself.
That's right, and we love to engage individuals, especially high school students, in having them explore not only our history, but giving them an opportunity to come up with ideas to address some of the challenges and opportunities that we face.
You brought with you a high school student, Nandi Grant, who's a senior, well, a graduating senior, from Euclid High School. Good to have you on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Tell me about, what is Teaching Cleveland Student Challenge? What is that?
So basically that means students coming up with ideas that they never would have thought before. Like this year we did a project and it was about creating something like that would bring people all over the world to Cleveland, and my team did that. And
you found it profitable? You find it a good thing, a good fit?
Yes, and I really wish, I was just telling him how I wish I joined even earlier. So I joined my junior year, so I only got to do it for like 2 years, but I wish I joined even my freshman year, because every year I feel like I learned something new and something worth that I will take into the real world.
Well, Greg, you're Executive Director of Teaching Cleveland. What are some of the topics of Student Challenge?
So we typically have four, actually, just in case a ninth grader joins. A ninth grader could stay with us throughout their entire high school career. So this past year, the question was, how do you make Northeast Ohio more innovative? And the Euclid group came up with this incredible idea of bringing people to the lakefront. Last year we did, how can we make Northeast Ohio more sustainable? This upcoming year, it is, how can we make Northeast Ohio more racially equitable? And then our last one is, in what ways can we understand politics, the history of politics, whose voice gets heard, and how can you raise your voice to be heard?
This is some heavyweight stuff that kids need to know about. You know, when I was coming along, we called it civics. A lot of it was civics, and we got away from that. But this prepares them for their own futures, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So the idea is, as Nandi was saying, when she was in the Student Challenge, we make sure that she's not with other Euclid High School students. She's meeting kids from all over. We typically have about 50 kids or so in every cohort. So it's about sharing ideas. It's about celebrating each person's ideas, and it's also about giving a voice to high school kids.
Does this inspire you? Did this inspire you to learn more about the city, Nandi?
Definitely. I learned a whole bunch of things about the history of Cleveland that I didn't learn before. Because in school, we learn things, the history, especially in Ohio, but you don't learn it like you do in Teaching Cleveland, because it's really in your face, and you kind of use your imagination to see, what else could have happened.
Give me an idea of something that really struck a nerve with you, that you learned as a result of Teaching Cleveland, or an idea or something that you envisioned. Give me an idea of some of the things that really turned you on.
Well, I remember, I forgot exactly what session it was, but we actually learned about an expo that happened. It was in Ohio.
The Great Lakes Expo.
Yes, right. And we actually used that as my project, so we had to use our imagination, and that's what we did. Nothing goes too far with your imagination. So what we did was imagine people coming from all over the country, different musicians from the world, and bringing them to Cleveland, having different festivals go on, and just, having something that everyone would want to come here for.
That Great Lakes Exposition was a big thing, I'm told, before even my time, back in 1936, I believe it was.
Well done.
I think I've got, well played, Leon. We've also got a video of the Euclid High School students working on the challenge of innovation. Let's take a look at that video.
Hi, this is the Euclid Group. My name is Will Carlton.
My name is Micaiah Webb.
My name is Alex Abernathy Jr.
My name is Robert Perkins.
My name is Nandi Grant, and this is our project.
Our group decided that the 2025 Innovation Expo in Cleveland should build upon the strong arts and cultural aspects that already exist in Cleveland. It is titled the North Coast Cleveland Art and Culture Expo, where art and culture has the room to grow. Our vision is to make Cleveland the new arts and culture center of America. New York City Times Square and Hollywood and LA are already overcrowded and expensive. Cleveland can provide an alternative with access to transportation, water, lodging, and space.
I've got to believe, Greg, that you seeing these kids coming along, these students coming along, these young folks coming along, inspires you as well. Tell me about that.
So I taught for 21 years in the classroom at Beechwood High School, and I love teaching, and I love teaching teenagers because their ideas are creative, they're energetic, and when you give them a little bit of historical background, they come up with some of the coolest ideas. Last year, the Euclid group came up with an idea. It was about how to make Northeast Ohio more equitable. And they had this idea about turning a dump in East Cleveland into a memorial garden with a walkway that would honor victims of gun violence. And so we got this to County Executive Chris Ronayne to say, look, there are some great ideas that kids have. So it's very inspiring.
This kind of inspired you, I mean, to take a problem that we have in our society and find a way to fix this problem, or at least begin fixing this problem.
Yes.
Is that what you learned through this whole process?
Definitely. And since last year was my first year doing it, when we, thought of that project, I thought, this doesn't just help Cleveland, sustainably, but it also helps, the families who lost children to gun violence and, let them know that they're not alone.
You're well on your way. Keep on thinking like that. Maybe you can even still work with Teaching Cleveland at some point.
Yes, hopefully I can, because even though it was only, 2 short years, it really felt like a big impact on me.
Oh, you've launched your way now. You're skyrocketing right now, right, Greg?
That's right, we hope.
Good to have you both on the broadcast. Nandi Grant, who's part of Teaching Cleveland and graduating tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, God bless you on that. And Greg Deegan, Teaching Cleveland Executive Director, retired school teacher.
That's right.
Still teaching.
That's
It's
right.
a good thing.
Different way.
I understand that. It's a good thing. For more information on Teaching Cleveland, you may call 216-658-4144 or email hello@teachcle.org. You can also visit teachcle.org. This is We the People. I'm Leon Bibb. We'll take a break, but be right back.